times, and as a result, he suffered 2 deep wounds. Saif Ali Khan was then rushed to Lilavati hospital, while the intruder managed to escape and flee the spot. Next up, acting promptly, the Mumbai police formed 15 teams and launched a mega manhunt to nab the attacker. And while the attacker is still at large, here's what we've picked up on the investigation front. The attacker stayed at Saif Ali Khan's residence all night. That's source-based information that we managed to access. Further sources maintain that the Mumbai police is probing whether the attacker was linked to one of Saif Ali Khan's house help. That's a high probability that is being probed as we speak, or whether if the attacker had any help from within the house. The attacker allegedly also entered the building through the back gate and used the same route to escape and flee after the attack, and that's confirmed if we go by the CCTV visuals that we just flashed for you. The cops have also ruled out any link to the Bishnoi gang, and the prime focus of the investigation is the theft angle. Further, cops have identified the attacker. The CCTV visuals are also making the story amply clear. 15 teams, like I said, are on the lookout for that man. Meanwhile, the floor polishing workers were also detained earlier for quizzing by the police itself. And earlier today, Saif Ali Khan's house help, who suffered injuries in the attack, also visited the Bandra police station and recorded her statement. The attack has raised a number of questions as well, viewers. What are these immediate, obvious questions that come to our mind? How did the assailant gain access to the residence? Did any of Saif Ali Khan's house help aid the intruder, which is a high probability as the police also suspect? How did the assailant enter and escape without scrutiny, especially in a residence where a high-profile celebrity, 2 of them, both Saif Ali Khan and his wife, are staying? If the building had biometric security system, how did the intruder get in? How did he breach that security system, and who assisted him in doing so? Was the assailant hiding hours before the assault? Was he already in the premises of that very building? Further, will the CCTV provide clues to who the assailant was? And we have the answer to that in that CCTV footage that we just flashed for you. So we'll take that up with our guests. But with these questions on everyone's mind, no single aspect can be ruled out, viewers. And this indeed was a security lapse. But was it also an insider's job? And is there more than what meets the eye? We'll take that up with our experts in just a bit. First up, the top reactions.
Saif Ali Khan was admitted in the morning at 2 a.m. at Lilavati hospital with alleged history of assault. He is completely stable now.
अभी तक के इन्वेस्टिगेशन में ये एक चोरी का अटेम्प्ट था, ऐसा हमारे इन्वेस्टिगेशन में निष्पन्न हुआ है। एक्यूज्ड को जल्दी अरेस्ट करने की कोशिश हमारी चल रही है।
लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की जिम्मेदारी राज्य सरकार की होती है। जनता ने उनको वोट करके ये जिम्मेदारी दी है। चप्पा चप्पा इस शहर का हो या महाराष्ट्र का हो, उसकी जिम्मेदारी सरकार की बनती है।
The fear of law seems to be at a low in Maharashtra in the last 2-3 years.
इसके बारे में पुलिस ने आपको सारी जानकारी दी हुई है। ये किस प्रकार का हमला है, इसके पीछे क्या है, किस प्रकार की मंशा से ये हुआ है।
Let's quickly open this up with our guest joining us this evening, Syed Zafar Islam, national spokesperson of the BJP, along with Mahesh Chavan, spokesperson, NCP SP. Meghna Pant, author and activist, is also with us this evening, along with Dhanraj Vanjari, former ACP Mumbai. Gentlemen, and Meghna, many thanks for taking out your time. It's concerning indeed what we've been tracking since early this morning. And before I come to you for the first question, once again, I want all our viewers and you, our panelists as well, to look at this one footage which is going to hold the key to the investigation going forward. This is of the assailant making his way out of the building through the backside of the building. This is the fire exit is what we're learning. Dhanraj ji, I come to you first. While we keep the CCTV footage on our screens, What do you make of the investigation so far? You know, there are several versions coming to light, and so far it's source-based. We've also tracked down details of the FIR that's been filed, but who do you think is this man? And how do you think in a building which has about 6 flats, apart from, Saif Ali Khan and Kareena Kapoor Khan, all the other residents are also well-off, high-profile people. Security arrangements, I'm sure, were intact, sir.
Actually, it's a matter of worry about the internal security of the building at first place. Secondly, as you asked me, in this matter, looking into the graphics which you are showing it on your channel now, the point of exit and point of entry are the same. The question is, at such an odd time of 2 a.m. at midnight, why he has taken entry and how does he know the entry and exit so well? Is he a habitual intruder in the premises? Then the question comes, who was the person who invited or who welcomed the intruder inside the flat? And what was exactly the commotion? And the way the attack, definitely it's a very brutal attack, because the celebrity, Saif, has sustained 6 injuries, out of which 3 injuries are quite major. And piece of a broken knife is left inside the body. It means you can understand the blow with which the stabber has stabbed it, nothing less than a brutal one and powerful one. Second question, along with this comes, what was the intention of the intruder? Now, police is working on the theory of theft. That is one of the area of suspicion. Second area of suspicion is whether he had intention to harm or kill the celebrity. If that would have been the intention, and if any bigger gang is involved, like some people are trying to connect it with Bishnoi, with the legacy of that Salman's case and all that. So if you take into because the intruder had only a knife, if somebody had a plan to kill a celebrity, they would have brought with them a firearm and will well shoot, because such an intimate distance, when a man can stab 6 times, he definitely would have shoot from a very close range and the celebrity would have been killed. Now, remaining theory is the third theory, that this security was compromised. And definitely security is compromised. Of the building, security is definitely compromised. That's why he is taking entry from that area. Now it is the backside of the building. How come the security is there? And while security is there, how can he take the entry? Whether the security of the building was compromised. Number 2, who was inside, who was welcoming him for whatever purpose, and what finally happened is the incident. Now, looking into the role of police, there are 2 roles I would define. Number 1, what police has taken the precaution. So let me tell you bluntly, this is not a public place or public life of the celebrity where the security perception works on very different parameters. And those parameters, then after working out the perception, they provide the security, maybe Z, Y, X or whatever the category it is fitting. The internal security, we start from the gate of the building and building premises, safety and security. That has created a problem over here that need to be looked into, which is a prima facie suspicious area for police to investigate. More than a dozen teams as on today working on it. And as Home Minister and Chief Minister has said, I agree with him that he has taken all proper precautions to find out the root cause. And unless and until investigation
No, I agree
is
to
complete,
that. But then there are certain examples from the past that raise this concern, is why this concern is being highlighted by several prominent figures in Mumbai as well, sir. But I'll come back to you for that. I'll let the others come in the meanwhile. Before I go across to our political speakers, Meghna, what do you make of this? You know, there is a lot of concern, worry, not just in the Bollywood circuit, elsewhere as well. And one question that comes to our mind of what Mr. Dhanraj also said is, how is it that while the front side or the main entrance of the building was well manned or guarded or whatever the situation was, how is it that the back side was left unmanned? So there's a big loophole there. And how is it that after having stabbed the actor 6 times, after a certain commotion, given which Saif Ali Khan actually woke up and attempted to intervene, how is it that nobody got to know or was aware of this man having created such a trouble and left the building conveniently? He's nowhere to be found still.
You know, so many questions that are still unanswered, and I think we'll have to wait till the investigation unfolds. But, you know, at this point, Kutsveen, I feel like we first must express our thoughts and prayers with Saif and his family. He must know how beloved he is as an actor. Mumbai loves you, Saif. India loves you. And our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family right now. You know, what we need to examine, and I've been seeing this on social media since morning, and it's so distasteful and unsavory, that all the politicization of the issue, as you will also hear as we go forward, the religious overtones that have been given to this burglary, comparing this incident to Baba Siddiqui and Salman Khan and to Beed and Parbani, and talking about the law and order situation in Mumbai, which is still, I live in Mumbai, and I'm telling you as a woman, it's still one of the safest city, if not the most safe city in India today. It's all very unsavory, it's very prosaic, very simplistic. And what nobody has brought to the forefront is the fact that the only thing to blame for this is toxic fandom. It is toxic media exposure. It is toxic social media exposure. All the time, without wanting to, we are exposed to the inner workings of celebrity life, which is affecting not just the Bollywood industry, because, you know, that whole star stature, the superstardom has gone now, because we know everybody in India, whether they want to or not, know where actors like Saif Ali Khan and Kareena Kapoor Khan live, without wanting access to such knowledge. I don't want to know where my celebrities live, what they eat, what they're doing in their personal life. I feel like I don't want to be privy to the lives of their underage children, you know, these little gentle souls. I don't want to know.
And perhaps in this case as well, Meghna, if I may come in for a few seconds, somebody was privy to the fact that Kareena Kapoor Khan wasn't present at, the residence, and the others were sleeping. And that's why the needle of suspicion points to the house help. We're picking up as per sources that this particular person is known to the house help. However, the house help wasn't in agreement to his motives. That said, if with the assistance of the house help, someone can conveniently walk in with the sharp object, it is so very dangerous. Yes.
And look at the level of violence. The perpetrator didn't feel any sort of culpability. He had no fear of stabbing such a superstar. There was absolutely no fear of the system, no fear of justice that will be unleashed, and rightly so. But I'm still saying, I think what we need to do away and examine in this case, and I hope this case helps us bring something positive forward, that let's stop the micro sort of exposure to celebrity life. You know, let's watch them on screen, let's enjoy their talent, let's appreciate their hard work, and let's keep out of their private lives, because the fact that everybody knows where celebrities live is very distasteful. It's not something that should be common public knowledge.
Oh yes, absolutely. And sometimes, you know, when out of the blue you have the paps filming them, capturing their visuals while they're coming back or going to the gym, going for a meal, it's quite uncalled for. And I think those are the challenges that come in with the day and times that we live in as well. So we don't know how much we can distance ourselves from that. But taking it forward with our political speakers, like I said, a lot of politics unfortunately is also broken out and took no time to come out when we picked up first of this stabbing episode. Syed Zafar Islam, before I let Mahesh Chavan question you, I want you to respond to what is the take of the government on this, of the Bharatiya Janata Party on this. We've heard it from the Chief Minister say that one attack does not declare Mumbai as an unsafe city, but there are questions being asked overall on the law and order situation, citing some of the past instances, like I said.
First of all, we all need to condemn this kind of incident. It's a very sad incident, and it needs to be condemned. Having said that, what is more important, instead of putting police in the dock, we shall wait for the investigation to be over, and instead of criticizing the police, criticizing the government, because as you rightly pointed out, that the Honorable Chief Minister has very candidly said that Mumbai, and the lady who was speaking prior to me did mention that Mumbai is the safest city in the country. Of course, incident does take place. Incident of this nature does take place. It's a robbery attempt. He was a robber. He attacked Saif Ali Khan. And I think it needs to be properly, thoroughly investigated. How did he come inside? I also live in Bandra, and I live in a society or a building where lots of superstars live. I know the kind of security they have, and it is next to impossible somebody will have access to them or get to their home unless there is somebody from inside allows them to come inside. So that's why I'm saying it needs to be investigated. How did he enter? And see, the way he is walking is not running.
Yeah.
He is slowly walking. So that suggests only that some support system was there, somebody was there, but I can't comment till police investigates and find out the truth. Having said that, this kind of incident should not take place, and anybody who is trying to politicize it must introspect. I think whether it's Chavan Saab, who is there on the panel here, or many other political parties who are making noise, they also need to understand that Mumbai is the safest city, Maharashtra is the safest state in the country, and it is the same city, Mumbai, where you have gangsters like D gang, you had gangsters like many other gangsters, and they were actually ruling, and police was ineffective. But today there is no such gang exist in Maharashtra, or for that matter Mumbai, because Mumbai has been cleaned with such elements by the police, and police has complete authority. And the law and
while
order.
What you're saying is absolutely believable, and Meghna also says that she's experienced that safety in Mumbai city. But isn't that fear also valid when an instance such as this, a horrific instance such as this, unfolds in the house of a celebrated artist like Saif Ali Khan? If it can happen to him at the kind of residence he stays in, the locality he stays in, the kind of security around him, then what about commoners in Mumbai? Isn't that a valid fear today?
No, you can't generalize this kind of because we are a commoner. We live in the society, but we don't have that kind of security and protection all the time. Despite being member of parliament, I have never had any police as my security, but I never experienced anything, because it is indeed a safe city. The same city where 20 years ago people used to really be reluctant to travel to Dongri, or for that matter India Gate, Gateway of India in the night, because or some other areas of Mumbai, because they were very concerned about the gangster attack. So at least today such thing does not exist in Mumbai. Yes, this is an incident which needs to be condemned, which I think but needs to be investigated more thoroughly. It needs to be investigated so that precaution can be taken, and the punishment can be given to people who are responsible for this.
So you firmly believe in what the Chief Minister said, that one attack alone, one incident alone doesn't decide whether Mumbai is safe or not. Mahesh ji, could politics not wait then? Could politics not wait till the probe concluded, till something or finalities of the probe came to light, or some details, concrete details that were shared by the police? We heard so many opposition leaders at the drop of the hat say that Mumbai is unsafe, law and order is in shambles, it's a complete collapse of law and order. Wasn't politics played on this a little too early in the day, sir?
Kritzwin, first of all, I don't want to politicize, but see, I would like to ask Mr. Jaffer, don't you think, Mr. Jaffer, that this is one more incident highlighting deteriorating law and order situation in the city? Is there any fear left of the police and so-called double engines government in Maharashtra? Be it, this incident, or firing at Salman Khan's house, or Baba Siddiqui's murder, or for that matter, Abhishek Ghosalkar, Shiv Sena's Abhishek Ghosalkar's murder, NCP's Sachin Kurmi's murder, BJP's Ganpat Gaikwad firing in the police station at Shinde Sena's Mahesh Gaikwad, Badlapur molestation incidents, hit and run cases in Pune and Mumbai. All these situations, Koita gang in Pune for that matter, or drug menace all over in Maharashtra, don't you think this is deteriorating law and order situation in Maharashtra? We are not trying to politicize, but this is the question of security and safety of
just
the people
respond
of
to this,
Maharashtra.
Yes, Saidji, please respond. Common perception has it that Mumbai is a safe city. And as a woman, I can tell you that, we've all grown up hearing that Mumbai is so much safer than, let's say, a national capital, which I'm not boasting right now. But we've heard all of those things all this while. But keeping women's safety aside, what explains these instances that have just been laid out by Mahesh ji?
No, ask any parents there in Mumbai. They will say, they will feel, and they will at least make a statement that Mumbai is a safe city, safe and secure city.
But yes, if a Salman Khan, Said Zafarji, like if a Salman Khan, if a Baba Siddiqui's family members don't feel safe, it's not a safe city, sir.
No, I won't say that they don't feel safe. They are living there for ages. It is just that some threat is there, and that threat we know exactly from where it is coming. And the police is taking all the precaution to ensure that he is unharmed. But having said that, was more important that what number of incidents he has outlined, Mr. Mahesh, he must also remember that there is way to compare how safe city is now and how safe city it was then when you were in the government a few years ago. And prior to 2014 also, and 2019 you have seen that how you have run the government. So clearly the statistics is there to prove that law and order situation is much better now than it ever was. Second, that incident is like, it does happen in a big city, but it is far and few. You can only count few, while I can give you a full list of incidents which used to happen in this city prior to 2014. But I do not want to politicize this issue, and these kind of issues, which is a social issue, need not be politicized. It is something which the authorities and the police and the security agencies needs to investigate, and proper action needs to be taken so that such incident does not take place again.
So allow me to take it to Mr. Dhanraj.
The people will turn.
Okay, he's perhaps in a better position having known the streets of Mumbai, areas of Mumbai. Mr. Dhanraj, given that this has happened in Bandra, we do know the kind of locality that is, the kind of people who stay here, and if an incident such as this can happen in the heart of the city, which is commonly known as a safe region in Mumbai, what do you make of it? Do you think we're not seeing enough security measures being implemented? Do you think the roads there, the residential areas there are not as secure? Because we can't just talk about how the building security measures were not intact. We have to also talk about how the manner in which this man just conveniently left the area. He's nowhere to be found, 16 hours and counting.
That's what I said in my first opening segment, that he might be a habitual intruder, and that need to be taken into comma, into inverted comma. As per our beat marshal system is concerned, I worked in this city for 35 years as a police officer. I tell you, Mumbai is not only safe in India, but in the world is one of the safest city. I am proud to say that. Now, coming to the area of Bandra, as you specified it, there are in series 3 incidents, Salman's attack, then after that Baba Siddiqui's killing, and now this is Saif Ali's attack, third one. Linking these 3 is irrational and illogical. And if you want to link this with Ganpat Patil, Gosalkar, and maybe in today's incident in Maharashtra, all over that Deshmukh killing and all these things, I say it is still far more illogical. Here, the cause and reason of every incident count. What was the intention? And if any political faction wants to politicize the issue, I have a blunt answer to them. I also know politics. I have blunt answer to say that take care of your criminalization of politics. The incidents and crimes happening out of criminalization of politics.
Okay, Dhanraj, what you can do is, you can quickly sum up for us the kind of police patrolling, etc., that we see in this region, since you're aware of the ins and outs.
That is what I'm saying. The beat marshal or beat officer are well in place. But still, the criminals have their own devil mind who work it now from backside of the building, whether there is any access to go for any police or whether they're suspecting. Basically, it's a job of building security. That's why I say private security cover and security of celebrity in public place. There are two different sections in this case. So not to intermingle. If I bet upon you, if you find any single fault on police security or police is not safe, so many celebrities are staying safely in Bandra and Andheri and Jew area. How a police are not working there? How it is possible?
Okay.
We are working, we are taking precautions, but to enter somebody's privacy, even the police officers, when want to enter these premises, I tell you there is a biometric security check. Without biometric security confirmation, no one can seek the entry. Then how this man has seek the entry? Do you expect police to guard each and every building and each and every door of the flat? Practically impossible, madam. Practically
absolutely
impossible.
right. Yes, police cannot be getting down to guarding doors and buildings, and all of that is not what the police is supposed to do. And there are other concerns that they have to address. But quickly, before I wrap it up, Meghna, to you. As a Mumbaikar, tell us about this area, this region, and how safe do you think it is? A lot of questions are being raised, is why I ask.
Absolutely. I've lived as a woman in Mumbai for over 35 years. I have driven at 4 a.m., never faced harassment. I have done everything, like worn red lipstick, worn short clothes, gone out in the night. I've never faced anything more than minor molestation cases, which unfortunately all the women in India have to live with. But nothing that has at any point threatened my safety or security as a woman. So I don't think this has anything to do with the law and order. The fact is that somebody had mentioned the building was compromised. That's because there are cameras on it at all times. There's overexposure. Yeah. And we as media people have to question the truth that one anecdotal incident does not become a blanket truth. That's what we need to understand. The fault is right now with our media culture, toxic fandom, and the fact that especially a house with such small children their privacy should be respected. The media should not enter the homes of celebrities. And I think that's the key takeaway that we should take away from this incident.
And politics most certainly can wait. Focus should be investigation. That should be the need of the hour. And that perhaps can just be the humble appeal going out right now. So there's lots more that perhaps will be unearthed with regards to the investigation. For now, I'll have to thank all of you. Thank you, gentlemen, and Meghna for joining us this evening. We head into a very short break with that. On the other side, we talk about the success of ISRO's Spadex mission. India has now entered the elite space club. We'll tell you all about this very interesting mission on the other side of a very short break.
खाने में कुछ स्वाद
सैफ अली खान के घर के बाहर और यहाँ पे जो है ये गेट से अंदर गया होगा ऐसा पुलिस का अनुमान है, क्योंकि ये गेट की जो हाइट है काफ़ी कम है। आप देखिए कि सीधा जो है बेसमेंट में जाता है और बेसमेंट में रात के टाइम में जो है यहाँ पर कोई भी प्राइवेट सिक्योरिटी गार्ड मौजूद नहीं रहता, इसी का फ़ायदा उठाया है। हालांकि पुलिस का ये कहना है कि जिसने भी चोर जो अंदर घुसा था वो सैफ अली खान के घर का चप्पा चप्पा जानता था। अब एक्सक्लूसिव वीडियो देखिए कि बिल्डिंग में जो है मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो है छानबीन कर रही है। आप देखिए एक्सक्लूसिव वीडियो आप अपने स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं, जिसमें हर चप्पा चप्पा बिल्डिंग का जो है मुंबई पुलिस छानबीन कर रही है। और सैफ अली खान के घर में मौजूद सभी नौकर जो थे उनकी पूछताछ फिलहाल चल रही है। साथ में वो नौकरानी जिसने सबसे पहली बार चोर को देखा था उसका भी स्टेटमेंट मुंबई पुलिस ने लिया है। मुंबई पुलिस और क्राइम ब्रांच की टीम जो है आप यहाँ पर देखिए, पुलिस अंदाज़ा लगा रही है कि चोर कैसे घुसा होगा, क्या वो पीछे के रास्ते से ऊपर की तरफ गया है या नहीं। आप देखिए एक्सक्लूसिव वीडियो अपने स्क्रीन पर देख सकते हैं, जिसमें मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो है इस बिल्डिंग का चप्पा चप्पा छान रही है। साथ में ही जो सीसीटीवी बिल्डिंग में करीब 24 सीसीटीवी है उसकी भी छानबीन जो है मुंबई पुलिस ने की है। हालांकि जांच में अभी तक पता उनको नहीं लग पाया है कि चोर एग्जैक्टली कहां से अंदर घुसा था और कहां से वो भागने में कामयाब हुआ। मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो है यहाँ पर पूरे डॉग स्क्वाड के साथ में पहुंची है। डॉग स्क्वाड ने भी घर के अंदर का मुआवजा किया है। साथ में ही मुंबई पुलिस ने इस वक्त जो है 3 लोगों की पूछताछ कर चुकी है, क्योंकि सैफ के घर में करीब 8 नौकर दिन रात काम करते हैं। उसमें से 3 लोगों का स्टेटमेंट जो है मुंबई पुलिस ने लिया है। हालांकि पुलिस को अभी तक ये पता नहीं लगा है कि चोर जो है भागकर कहाँ गया। इसके बाजू में ही मैं आपको दिखाऊंगी कि यहाँ पर जो है ये जो बिल्डिंग है उसके बाजू में ही एक प्राइवेट बंगलो है। ये प्राइवेट बंगलो की ऊंचाई भी जो है काफ़ी छोटी सी है और ये दरवाज़ा जो है इस घर का जो नाम है पेटफीना नाम है, पीटर फर्नांडिस नाम के बंदे का ये घर है जो यहाँ पर रहते हैं। अब से कुछ देर पहले हमने उनसे बात की थी। ये जो गेट है ये गेट से अंदर की तरफ जाते हैं और ये रास्ता जो है पूरा सैफ अली खान की जो बिल्डिंग है वहाँ पे कनेक्ट करता है। मैं आपको अंदर लेके जाऊँगी और दिखाऊंगी कि कैसे आप देखिए कि ये रास्ता जो है, ये दीवार जो है वो सैफ अली खान के बिल्डिंग की है। पुलिस को ये भी अंदाज़ा है कि शायद चोर यहाँ से भागकर इस बिल्डिंग में गया होगा। मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो है यहाँ पर भी आई है, छानबीन की है और ये बंगलो ठीक बाजू में है, सैफ अली खान की बिल्डिंग के बाजू में 12वीं मंजिल पर जो है सैफ अली खान रहते हैं। हालांकि ये जो बिल्डिंग है वहाँ पर सिर्फ 6 परिवार ही रहते हैं। जी हाँ, सिर्फ 6 परिवार ही रहते हैं, क्योंकि 12 मंजिल के बिल्डिंग में डुप्लेक्स फ्लैट है। सैफ अली खान का भी डुप्लेक्स फ्लैट है। सिर्फ 6 परिवार के लोग ही जो है इस पूरे बिल्डिंग में रहते हैं। उनकी भी पूछताछ जो है पुलिस कर रही है। पुलिस को अंदाज़ा यही है कि जो भी चोर अंदर घुसा था उसको पूरा पता था कि बिल्डिंग में कहाँ से जाना है, कहाँ से निकलना है, कहाँ कहाँ CCTV लगा है, वो भी इस चोर को पता था। यानी पुलिस का ये मानना है कि जो भी अंदर घुसा था, जिसने सैफ अली खान के ऊपर चाकू से 6 वार किए हैं, उसको पूरा पता था। हो सकता है कि सैफ अली खान का पुराना नौकर भी हो। सैफ अली खान जो है पिछले 5 साल से इसी बिल्डिंग में रहते हैं और 12वीं मंजिल के ऊपर जो है उनका घर है। इस पूरे बिल्डिंग में जो है करीब 6 परिवार ही रहते हैं, क्योंकि सभी के जो फ्लैट है वो डुप्लेक्स फ्लैट है। रात को करीब 2 से 3 बजे के बीच में एक चोर सैफ अली खान के घर में घुस गया था और उसके बाद में जब उसकी नौकरानी ने देखा कोई अनजान शख्स को, उसने चिल्लाना शुरू किया। सैफ अली खान रूम से बाहर आए और उन्होंने, जो चोर था उसने 6 चाकू से वार किया है। इस वक्त आप देखें कि मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो है यहाँ मौजूद है। पुलिस का मानना है कि बेसमेंट के एरिया से जो है शायद चोर अंदर घुसा होगा, क्योंकि पुलिस का ये भी मानना है कि बेसमेंट से ही गया होगा, क्योंकि बेसमेंट में जो है रात के समय में कोई भी सिक्योरिटी गार्ड वहाँ मौजूद नहीं रहता है। और साथ में यहाँ बाजू में भी जो एक बंगलो है जिसकी भी हाइट जो है काफ़ी कम है। पुलिस का ये भी अंदेशा है कि चोर जो है इसी बंगलो से भी अंदर गया होगा।
Welcome back. In a historic achievement, ISRO successfully docked its Spadex satellites in space. With this feat, India has become the 4th country in the world to possess rendezvous docking and undocking capabilities. The docking experiment, which took place in the wee hours this morning, was a meticulous dance between 2 satellites as the chaser aligned with the target satellite in a tango choreography by engineers from the Indian Space Agency. With this success, viewers, India joined the select club of US, China and Russia to have successfully demonstrated the technology. Now let's get you through some of those details. Docking is a process by which 2 fast-moving spacecrafts are brought to the same orbit, brought closer to each other manually or autonomously, and finally joined together. Here's how the docking was successfully achieved. 2 small 220 kg satellites launched separately were brought to the same orbit and within a distance of 15 meters apart and 3 meters from each other in orbit, their extended ring was joined with each other, retracted and locked in space. This capability is necessary for carrying out missions that require heavy spacecraft that a single launch vehicle may not be capable of lifting off. And that's exactly why the Spadex mission, the successful docking, makes India the 4th country in the world after the United States, Russia and China to have this capability. By developing its own docking systems and technology, ISRO has positioned itself as a major player in global space exploration. ISRO's Spadex mission, while similar in objective to that of other countries, stands out for being a cost-effective technology demonstration. Before India, viewers, United States, Russia and China has conducted successful docking missions. NASA, the space agency of US, has been a leader in docking technology. Its Gemini program in the 1960s was the first to successfully dock 2 spacecraft in orbit, paving the way for future missions to the moon, such as the Apollo program. Speaking of Russia, through its space agency, also a long history of expertise in docking, its Soyuz spacecraft has been a reliable transport vehicle for astronauts to the ISS for decades. China too has made significant progress in docking technology. Though its Tiangong program, through this program, China launched space laboratories like Tiangong 1 and Tiangong 2 to test docking systems. In 2011, in fact, Shenzhou 8 spacecraft successfully docked with Tiangong 1, marking a major step forward for China's space program. As for India, the success of Spadex will not only enhance India's capabilities but also pave the way for ambitious future missions. This mission is a bold step forward for India in establishing itself as a leader in space technology, showcasing the nation's growing expertise and ambition in space exploration. With that, we head into a very short break. But on the other side, here's the big story we're tracking from the Middle East. After 467 days, Israel and Hamas have agreed on a ceasefire deal. Is it finally time for Hamas to stop with its terror? We'll get you more details on what each of the sides think. Be right back.
Co-powered.
सैफ अली खान के घर के बाहर हूँ और यहाँ पे जो है ये गेट से अंदर गया होगा ऐसा पुलिस का अनुमान है, क्योंकि ये गेट की जो हाइट है काफ़ी कम है। आप देखिए कि सीधा जो है बेसमेंट में जाता है और बेसमेंट में रात के टाइम में जो है यहाँ पर कोई भी प्राइवेट सिक्योरिटी गार्ड मौजूद नहीं रहता, इसी का फ़ायदा उठाया है। हालांकि पुलिस का ये कहना है कि जिसने भी चोर जो अंदर घुसा था वो सैफ अली खान के घर का चप्पा चप्पा जानता था। अब एक्सक्लूसिव वीडियो देखिए कि बिल्डिंग में जो है मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो है छानबीन कर रही है। आप देखिए एक्सक्लूसिव वीडियो आप अपने स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं, जिसमें हर चप्पा चप्पा बिल्डिंग का जो है मुंबई पुलिस छानबीन कर रही है और सैफ अली खान के घर में मौजूद सभी नौकर जो थे उनकी पूछताछ फिलहाल चल रही है। साथ में वो नौकरानी जिसने सबसे पहली बार चोर को देखा था उसका भी स्टेटमेंट मुंबई पुलिस ने लिया है। मुंबई पुलिस और क्राइम ब्रांच की टीम जो है आप यहाँ पर देखिए, पुलिस अंदाज़ा लगा रही है कि चोर कैसे घुसा होगा, क्या वो पीछे के रास्ते से ऊपर की तरफ गया है या नहीं। आप देखिए एक्सक्लूसिव वीडियो अपने स्क्रीन पर देख सकते हैं, जिसमें मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो है इस बिल्डिंग का चप्पा चप्पा छान रही है। साथ में ही जो सीसीटीवी बिल्डिंग में करीब 24 सीसीटीवी है उसकी भी छानबीन जो है मुंबई पुलिस ने की है। हालांकि जांच में अभी तक पता उनको नहीं लग पाया है कि चोर एग्जैक्टली कहां से अंदर घुसा था और कहां से वो भागने में कामयाब हुआ। मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो है यहां पर पूरे डॉग स्क्वाड के साथ में पहुंची है। डॉग स्क्वाड ने भी घर के अंदर का मुआवजा किया है। साथ में ही मुंबई पुलिस ने इस वक्त जो है 3 लोगों की पूछताछ कर चुकी है, क्योंकि सैफ के घर में करीब 8 नौकर दिन रात काम करते हैं। उसमें से 3 लोगों का स्टेटमेंट जो है मुंबई पुलिस ने लिया है। हालांकि पुलिस को अभी तक ये पता नहीं लगा है कि चोर जो है भागकर कहाँ गया। इसके बाजू में ही मैं आपको दिखाऊंगी कि यहाँ पर जो है ये जो बिल्डिंग है उसके बाजू में ही एक प्राइवेट बंगलो है। ये प्राइवेट बंगलो की ऊंचाई भी जो है काफ़ी छोटी सी है और ये दरवाज़ा जो है इस घर का जो नाम है पेटफीना नाम है, पीटर फर्नांडिस नाम के बंदे का ये घर है जो यहाँ पर रहते हैं। अब से कुछ देर पहले हमने उनसे बात की थी। ये जो गेट है ये गेट से अंदर की तरफ जाते हैं और ये रास्ता जो है पूरा सैफ अली खान की जो बिल्डिंग है वहाँ पे कनेक्ट करता है। मैं आपको अंदर लेके जाऊँगी और दिखाऊँगी कि कैसे। आप देखिए कि ये रास्ता जो है ये दीवार जो है वो सैफ अली खान के बिल्डिंग की है। पुलिस को ये भी अंदाज़ा है कि शायद चोर यहाँ से भागकर इस बिल्डिंग में गया होगा। मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो है यहाँ पर भी आई है, छानबीन की है और ये बंगलो ठीक बाजू में है, सैफ अली खान की बिल्डिंग के बाजू में 12वीं मंजिल पर जो है सैफ अली खान रहते हैं। हालांकि ये जो बिल्डिंग है वहाँ पर सिर्फ 6 परिवार ही रहते हैं। जी हाँ, सिर्फ 6 परिवार ही रहते हैं क्योंकि 12 मंजिल के बिल्डिंग में डुप्लेक्स फ्लैट है। सैफ अली खान का भी डुप्लेक्स फ्लैट है। सिर्फ 6 परिवार के लोग ही जो है इस पूरे बिल्डिंग में रहते हैं। उनकी भी पूछताछ जो है पुलिस कर रही है। पुलिस को अंदाज़ा यही है कि जो भी चोर अंदर घुसा था उसको पूरा पता था कि बिल्डिंग में कहाँ से जाना है, कहाँ से निकलना है, कहाँ कहाँ CCTV लगा है, वो भी इस चोर को पता था। यानी पुलिस का ये मानना है कि जो भी अंदर घुसा था, जिसने सैफ अली खान के ऊपर चाकू से 6 वार किए हैं, उसको पूरा पता था। हो सकता है कि सैफ अली खान का पुराना नौकर भी हो। सैफ अली खान जो है पिछले 5 साल से इसी बिल्डिंग में रहते हैं और 12वीं मंजिल के ऊपर जो है उनका घर है। इस पूरे बिल्डिंग में जो है करीब 6 परिवार ही रहते हैं क्योंकि सभी के जो फ्लैट है वो डुप्लेक्स फ्लैट है। रात को करीब 2 से 3 बजे के बीच में एक चोर सैफ अली खान के घर में घुस गया था और उसके बाद में जब उसकी नौकरानी ने देखा कोई अनजान शख्स को, उसने चिल्लाना शुरू किया। सैफ अली खान रूम से बाहर आए और उन्होंने, जो चोर था उसने 6 चाकू से वार किया है। इस वक्त आप देखें कि मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो है यहाँ मौजूद है। पुलिस का मानना है कि बेसमेंट के एरिया से जो है शायद चोर अंदर घुसा होगा क्योंकि पुलिस का ये भी मानना है कि बेसमेंट से ही गया होगा क्योंकि बेसमेंट में जो है रात के समय में कोई भी सिक्योरिटी गार्ड वहाँ मौजूद नहीं रहता है और साथ में यहाँ बाजू में भी जो एक बंगलो है जिसकी भी हाइट जो है काफ़ी कम है। पुलिस का ये भी अंदेशा है कि चोर जो है इसी बंगलो से भी अंदर गया होगा। हालांकि मुंबई पुलिस जो है फिलहाल सभी उसकी जांच चल रही है कि क्या वहाँ पे हुआ होगा और क्या नहीं हुआ होगा। सभी पहलू की छानबीन जो है फिलहाल यहाँ चल रही है। इस बंगलों के आसपास भी जितने CCTV थे उसकी छानबीन पुलिस ने यहाँ की है। आप ये बंगलो देखिए। फर्नांडिस परिवार जो है पिछले 60 साल से यहाँ पर रहता है, उनकी भी पूछताछ जो है मुंबई पुलिस ने की है और साथ में जो नौकरानी जिसने सबसे पहले जो है चोर को देखा था उसका भी स्टेटमेंट जो है पुलिस ने लिया है। डॉग स्क्वाड और साथ में FSL की टीम भी जो है यहाँ पहुँच चुकी है।
इन्वेस्टिगेशन जो है वो शुरू है। सैफ अली खान के ऊपर जो रात में जो हमला हुआ था, जो पर्सन था उसकी तरफ से ये हमला किया गया है। चोरी के लिए वो जो आदमी था वो वहाँ पे पहुँचा गया था और तभी ये इंफॉर्मेशन सामने आ रही है कि तभी सैफ अली खान की जो फैमिली थी वो भी वहाँ पे मौजूद थी और तभी जो अज्ञात पर्सन था उसने सैफ अली खान पे हमला किया और 6 कट्स जो है वो सैफ अली खान के बॉडी पे आ गए हैं। इसके लिए अभी लीलावती हॉस्पिटल में सैफ अली खान का जो उपचार है वो स्टार्ट है और अभी भी डॉक्टर की तरफ से ये पता चल रहा है कि सैफ अली खान की जो हेल्थ है वो अभी भी स्थिर है। बट जैसे जैसे टाइम जाता जाएगा तभी और इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलती जाएगी। और अभी हम लोग बांद्रा के सैफ अली खान के घर के यहाँ पे मौजूद है। सैफ अली खान यहाँ इसी घर में टॉप फ्लोर पे रहते थे और जब भी हमला हुआ था तभी वो वहाँ पे ही थे। जब भी हमला हुआ तभी उसके थोड़े देर पहले ही सैफ अली खान को चिल्लम चल
Welcome back. After 467 days since Hamas unleashed its terror on Israel and after more than 46,000 lost their lives to the fighting in West Asia on both sides and after multiple rounds of ground operations and truce talks, a ceasefire deal is finally in the pipeline. The deal, which is expected to be implemented in 3 phases, was approved by the Hamas on Wednesday. Israeli cabinet meeting, which was expected to approve it though, has been delayed. But what exactly does the deal entail? We'll talk about that, but here's how the deal was brokered. After the 15-month-long fighting, this is how the deal came through. The deal was brokered by Qatar, Egypt and United States. While Biden and Trump continue to trade barbs, claiming credit, it was Trump's envoy for Middle East who was involved in the negotiations as per several reports. The deal was first agreed upon by Hamas, even as certain Israeli ministers opposed the deal, then finally agreed upon by Netanyahu, and the deal will be implemented in phases. So let's get to that. The first phase will last for 42 days, and during the course of this period, Hamas will release 33 hostages, including women, elderly and the sick. In return, Israel will release 30 Palestinian prisoners for each hostage. Israel will also move its forces out of populated areas to the edge of Gaza borders, and the displaced Palestinians will begin returning home. Furthermore, more humanitarian aid will now begin to enter the Gaza Strip. The second phase will commence after 42 days, and the Hamas will begin releasing the remaining hostages, including men. Israel, however, is yet to announce the number of Palestinian prisoners that has been negotiated upon. This phase will also witness full withdrawal of Israeli forces from the Gaza Strip. And the final and the third phase will witness reconstruction of Gaza Strip, something that could take months to accomplish, and bodies of the remaining hostages will also have to be released in the final phase of this deal. While all of that has been put to the drawing board, and we're seeing this ceasefire deal come through after 467 long days, what is in it for the stakeholders concerned, and will Hamas or Israel, for that matter, buy this in complete honesty and also take it to the implementing stage? We'll talk about that in just a bit, but the reaction so far.
This has been time of real turmoil in the Middle East. But as I prepare to leave office, our friends are strong, our enemies are weak.
What's going on in the Middle East, this would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
And quickly introducing our guest joining us this evening, Avishag Avinom, former media coordinator to Israeli Prime Minister, is with us to really take us through the Israeli perspective. Also with us is former diplomat Mr. Deepak Vora, and geopolitical analyst Madhav Nalapat completes the panel. A very good evening to you, gentlemen. And Avinom, I want to first begin with you. You know, several are asking, and we're just going by the host of reports that are coming in, celebrations taking place in Gaza. Everybody is seeing this as a real breakthrough after 15 long months. But the fact of the matter is that Netanyahu's held up the cabinet note. Why? And are we expecting a delay now? I think you're on mute. Could you please unmute yourself? Okay, no luck there.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, so good evening, first of all. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
The cabinet is right now on hold because these are the final stages of the deal. The deal is so-called sealed, but as we can learn from previous experience, Hamas usually towards the last days when they're supposed to execute their obligations of the deal, they are trying to gain more more requests and to change some critical clauses that were agreed upon in the deal itself. So that's why the cabinet, I'm assuming, is on hold at the moment until everything is being 100% clear that it will be happening starting on Sunday. So that's the reason why I think right now people are kind of letting Hamas take the lead on this position right now, because they were the ones who constantly trying to manipulate the agreements and agreed upon many things. And then, as I said, on the final stages, they changed their minds or they added different clauses to the deals. So I'm assuming that we are waiting right now for them to see if there will be any change of hearts on their behalf.
Okay, I do have a follow-up question, but I'll quickly go across to the gentleman as well. Mr. Deepak Vora, do you think in that sense, given what we've just heard from Avinom, what we're tracking from Israel, the ceasefire still is in the grey area? We're not clearly seeing a black or white here?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Always a pleasure. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm somewhere far away in central India in a tribal area, and you can see the connectivity here. And to my colleague from Israel, Pizza Khonle Israel, victory to Israel. you are fighting for your survival. Ma'am, let me tell you very quickly, I've been ambassador to 6 countries and I've seen this before in my career. Why are the Israelis fighting for their survival? They didn't run away from Germany and Europe, where they were being massacred by that mad fellow, to come here and then be killed by the Arabs and the Muslims who surround them. It's a matter of survival. Now, I do not see any meeting of ideologies or mindsets. On the one hand, Israel has no right to exist, say these clowns, whether it's Hamas or Hezbollah or the Iranians. On the other hand, where will they go? As far as Palestine is concerned, ma'am, nobody wants them. You know this as well as I do. Now, I've seen these peace deals. Forgive me, my dear colleague from Israel. I've seen this in Sudan, South Sudan. When I was ambassador 5 years, each peace deal would last for 1 month. And in South Sudan itself, where the two factions were fighting, the president and the vice president, and I participated in some of those negotiations, the ceasefire deal would last for 10 minutes before the ink was dry. I've seen this in Ethiopia, Eritrea, I've seen this in Zimbabwe, I've seen this in Angola. There is no trust. There's no goodwill. Everyone is trying to maneuver, in this case, Palestine, to get a better position to see what they can extract. I'm sorry to sound pessimistic, but unless there is a change of mindset, unless there is trust, this deal will go out the window and we'll be back to where we are. Interestingly, the Secretary of State of the United States says, and now that he's going to leave his office, that Hamas has recovered its strength, has as many people as it had before the invasion, and they've recovered everything, etc. And therefore, a political solution is the answer. Ma'am, forgive me, please forgive me. I haven't heard more arrant nonsense than this. What political solution? Do you accept the right of Israel to exist? If you don't, what solution will you have? I rest my case.
Okay, Mr. Vora, I'll come back to you in just a bit. Mr. Nalapat, another question that several stakeholders and key players here have had to answer, and they've not really come up with an answer, be it Netanyahu or Joe Biden, is that if Joe Biden, the outgoing US president, outlined or rather shared the outline of the ceasefire back in May 2024, why did we have to wait till now? Though we don't know in which direction this is headed, but why the long wait, and why right before his tenure ends is he wanting to now claim credit?
Look, I'm a bit surprised to hear Blinken say that this particular deal is going to create, not the deal, that what has happened, what has been done by the IDF in Gaza will create many more terrorists than they initially were on October 7th. Well, frankly, I don't think that's true. The population of Gaza is completely fed up of what it's been undergoing, and I think they understand that October 7 was the trigger for that. Now, we have nobody less than the deputy leader of the political wing of Hamas claiming that the October 7, I'm not talking about the peace deal, I'm talking about the October 7 terror attack, was a great victory for Hamas. A great, great victory. And the resistance will go on. In other words, more attacks will go on. Now, frankly, given that kind of somewhat incendiary comment, in case Prime Minister Netanyahu agrees to the deal as negotiated by the US, UAE, Egypt and Qatar. Remember, Qatar is not trusted by the Netanyahu government. Al Jazeera has hardly been neutral during this conflict. Biden, frankly, has never had a good relationship with Netanyahu.
So he's not put to best use his leverage on Israel. That's what we can come up with. That's the one thing that we can sum up this past.
Trump is going to come, I don't think so.
Okay. Now, Abhinam, while you're leveling a certain allegations against Hamas, and we'll get to Hamas in just a bit and take that up once again with Professor Nalapat, with Mr. Nalapat, but here's what the Gaza Civil Defense says, and I want to quote this because they've reported that at least 73 Palestinians, including 20 children and 25 women, have been killed and more than 230 injured in Israeli attacks across Gaza since the announcement of the ceasefire. So that's their counter to what you've just said.
Look,
this for me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I would not trust even a bit on Hamas ministry or This is very absurd to quote their, like you would not quote ISIS figures, right? You would not quote Al-Qaeda figures. So there is no reason to quote Hamas figures. There is already a research that been out there a few months ago of the Henry Jackson Society that debunked the numbers and shows hundreds, if not thousands, of names that put under the category of women and children, which are not correct, and names that are repeating themselves constantly with the same civil number. So I would not trust their number a bit. This is absolutely like I'm not even going to take it seriously, to be honest, because you cannot trust them in anything. You cannot trust them in their deals. You cannot trust them right now. If that's why we are very skeptical about this deal. We are hopeful, and hopefully, you know, we are will be happy to see the hostages back. We are
and that's
eager
why we've
to
been
see
meaning
them
to
back.
understand why, despite the resistance that came in from a few Israeli ministers, the deal has seen the light of the day. That's what we were trying to understand clearly. But I want Mr. Vora and Mr. Nalapat to come in on this one question quickly before I wrap this up. Is that the best option before Israel in that sense? Because the fear is that though Hamas could have been weakened, it's never going to be eliminated. Mr. Vora first, yes.
You are so right, ma'am. But I ask a subsequent question, and Professor Nalapat, whose wisdom is infinitely greater than mine, would be able to respond. All right, I have a ceasefire deal. I've seen these pieces of paper. Then what? What will prevent them from attacking again? What will prevent another 7th October? Who's going to guarantee that? That wise old gentleman sitting in Washington who's going to lose his job in 4 days, or the incoming guy? Who's going to make sure that it doesn't happen again? I know that there were celebrations on 7th October, not just in Hamas, which claimed a great victory, but all across the Arab world. Ma'am, I have served maybe 20 years in that region. I understand their mentality backward. I feel sorry for my friends from Israel. They are there to keep it safe, to keep the world safe, ma'am. That's all that I say.
Okay, thank you for that. Mr. Nalapat.
Let me just say that that in case the deal, as for example, publicly declared by the Hamas deputy leader or the political wing, in case the deal is signed by Prime Minister Netanyahu, it will mean the harakiri of his government. Now, frankly, I don't know any politician who would like to commit harakiri of his or her government for the sake of signing something that may just turn out to be a piece of paper, as the ambassador has been pointing out in the past. So quite frankly, this situation is, in my view, not really very conducive to what has
And while what you say, Mr. Nalapat, might just be the true, the fact is that the war in Gaza has had a devastating impact, and any end to that cycle of violence is a welcome step. Whether or not this deal will see the light of the day remains to be seen. Thank you. That's all the time we have in this edition. That's all from me for now. Over to Anand Narsimhan for The Right Stand.
Greenlam Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
Namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan and we are coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Greenlam Laminates. Well, we begin this edition of The Right Stand with an exclusive news break, and this is brought to us by our Security Affairs Editor Manoj Kumar Gupta. Amid reports from the US about certain elements trying to sabotage Indo-US relations, top sources in Bharat have stated that National Security Advisor, or the NSA, Ajit Doval, had immediately started looking into each and every aspect of the concerns raised by the American. The Indian government sources have also said that Indo-US relationship is very important to both sides, and Bharat understands the weight of this relationship, and any concerns that were raised by the US were taken very, very seriously. And Bharat is also hoping that this will lead to the court indictment in the Gurpatwant Singh Pannu case also now being waxed off or taken away. going away because of the action that's been taken. Now let's get you more details. According to top government sources, Ajit Doval spoke to all parties concerned in the US and has also assured them. He has given them confidence that all will be done to ensure that anybody trying to sabotage Indo-US equations will be dealt with severely. Now, Ajit Doval constituted a high-level committee in the NSCS and entrusted the job to his trusted officials. Two officers, Deputy NSA Pankaj Singh and former Special Director of CBI Praveen Sinha, were part of this team. They met authorities, took evidence, collected all the